In this video, I asked 50 Hive YouTubers trivia questions. Let's see who replied and what their answers were. Okay, first up we've got the Cod God. And I asked, what is the capital of South Korea? And he said Seoul, which is correct. Okay, next we have Avery, who I asked who painted the Starry Night. And they replied with Van Gogh, which is Van Gogh, spelled it wrong, and then did a gif of a van going somewhere. Yep. Okay, next I asked Elite Koala how many channels on YouTube have over 100 million subscribers, and he said 300, but very quickly realised that it was only 16. Way off. Okay, next up we have Shorky, who I asked who was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom in World War I. They said Churchill, which would be correct if it was World War II. Okay, next up we have Zayden, who I asked when was Marmite invented, and he replied 1948, which is a couple years off, as Marmite was invented in 1902. Okay, next up we have Amp Plays, who I asked which country has won the most Men's World Cup, and he replied Portugal, when the answer in reality is Brazil. Following on from the World Cup, we have Irish Potato, who I asked which country has won the most Women's World Cup, where she said England, but apparently it's the United States. Now for one of the harder questions, I asked Kaifi, in every country Coca-Cola is the #1 sold drink except one, and which country? And he replied China, but the answer is Scotland. Back to one of more of the simpler questions, we have Magnet, who I asked which famous rapper sang See You Again and Like Him, where he replied with Tyler the Creator. Which is correct, I must add. Next up we have Hyper PvPs, who I asked which Minecraft YouTuber has a series called Lovely World, and he replied with Stampy and something else, but Stampy is the correct answer. Okay! Next up we have Bleak Marrow, who I asked what state is the Grand Canyon located, and he replied Arizona, which is correct. Okay, next up I asked Ian the Lad which two countries have the most wins in Eurovision, and he said Sweden and Ireland, which are both correct. Next we have Cosmo, and I asked when were planes invented, and they said 1889, but the answer is 1903, so just a couple years off. Okay, the next YouTuber we're going to is Ionic Dino, and I asked what was the most streamed song last year, and he said As It Was by Harry Styles, when in reality that was in 2022, and the answer is Birds of a Feather. Okay, we have Fry now, and I asked what colour is a giraffe's tongue, and there are 3 answers. The other 2 were black, blue, and he said purple, which is one of the right answers. Okay, after Fry we have River Rain, 1, 2, 3, and I asked which element has the atomic number 1, and he said, I don't know, but then said hydrogen, which is the correct answer. Okay, next we have Chili YT, where I asked who won Eurovision 2025, and they said they didn't even know what Eurovision is, which is an absolute crime. And going back to Eurovision, we have Cool Creeper, and I asked who won Eurovision 2024, and they asked if it was the person that sang Euro Papa, which was Joost Klein, which was incorrect because it was actually Switzerland. And finally, we have all of these YouTubers, which I'm about to put on the screen because there's too many that I can fit in the video, and these are their answers. So as you can see, it's slowly getting more people's answers, and one by one they're all coming through on the screen, as you can see, and some of these answers are correct actually, but some of them are incorrect. If you'd like to know which specifically are correct and which are incorrect, you can always ask me in the comments, and I will probably reply to your comment as soon as I can and say what YouTuber you want to find out who is correct or incorrect. Right, that's going to be the end of the video now. I hope you all enjoy, and I'll see you all later. Bye!